I'm still annoyed this Star Trek. The Next Generation character was only in 2 episodes before disappearing. Star Trek The Next Generation introduced dozens of characters over its 7-season run, many of whom left lasting impressions with fans even if they only showed up for a short time. But one character in particular has stuck in my mind for decades, not because of what they did, but because of what they could have done. I'm talking about LT, Commander Shelby, the ambitious, sharp-edged Starfleet officer who appeared in the 2-part episode The Best of Both Worlds. And to this day, I'm still annoyed that she was only in 2 episodes before vanishing from the series entirely. Shelby, played with fiery determination by Elizabeth Dennehy, was unlike almost any other Starfleet officer we'd seen to that point. She was bold, assertive, strategic, and, most importantly, not afraid to challenge Commander Riker or even Captain Picard. In a universe where respect for the chain of command is usually sacrosanct, Shelby brought the kind of tension and ambition that made the Enterprise feel like a real workplace filled with complex interpersonal dynamics. When she showed up in The Best of Both Worlds, she was brought aboard as an expert on the Borg, right when the Federation needed one most. But Shelby wasn't just another guest star of the week. She was written as someone who could realistically replace Riker, who was contemplating accepting his own command at the time. That created a fascinating friction between the two. Her confidence bordered on arrogance, but she was also clearly brilliant and competent. That made her threatening and intriguing. Shelby challenged Riker in ways no one else on the ship had. She questioned his decisions, took initiative without always waiting for approval, and didn't seem to be playing the long, deferential game. She was gunning for advancement, and she wasn't shy about it. And for once, it felt like someone on the Enterprise was playing real politics, ambition, and all. This is why her disappearance is so frustrating. The writers had introduced a bold, intelligent, rule-bending character who could have provided a rich foil to the rest of the senior crew. Imagine if she'd been made a recurring guest, or even promoted to a regular in later seasons. Her dynamic with Riker could have evolved into mentorship, rivalry, or even an uneasy alliance. Her perspective could have challenged Picard's often philosophical command style. And as a female officer climbing the ranks in a male-dominated Starfleet hierarchy, Shelby's journey could have added depth to the show's progressive themes. But no. After The Best of Both Worlds, she's gone. Sure, she technically appears again in a non-canon Star Trek novel, and much later as a captain in Star Trek Picard Season 3, where she's sadly killed off almost immediately. But none of that makes up for what was missed in the Prime TNG run. It's not just that Shelby was interesting, it's that she offered something new. For a series often focused on diplomacy, morality, and reflection, Shelby brought stakes and ambition. She was a disruptor, and TNG didn't have many of those. Compare her to recurring characters like Ro Laren, who did stick around for multiple episodes. Ro was another abrasive, principled, complex officer who rubbed people the wrong way, and fans loved her for it. But where Ro was often grappling with issues of loyalty and identity, Shelby represented pure command track ambition. Her arc could have reflected the sacrifices and compromises made on the path to power in Starfleet. That would have been especially compelling in contrast to Riker, who famously turned down promotion after promotion to stay on the Enterprise. Shelby was the opposite. She wanted the captain's chair, and she wasn't ashamed of it. The real tragedy is how easily she could have been folded into TNG's ongoing narrative. Imagine Shelby returning during the Borg aftermath, now in command of a starship, providing aid, or butting heads with Picard again over Starfleet's strategies. Imagine her reappearing during the Dominion War, older, more seasoned, maybe even as an admiral with her own agenda. There's so much character potential there, and none of it was explored. Star Trek often prides itself on its ensemble casts and deep bench of recurring characters. But with Shelby, the show created lightning in a bottle, and then let it evaporate. Instead of becoming a thorn in Riker's side, a challenger to Starfleet status quo, or even a friend forged in fire, she was shelved. And for a show that loved playing with big ideas and long-term character development, it feels like a massive missed opportunity.